Hi, welcome to another project for Made by Marley Week. We really hope you enjoy this one and tune in tomorrow for more projects. Hi, it's Lyle from Made by Marley, and today I'm going to be introducing one of our new stencil sets, which is called Hot Spice, and I'm going to show you all the ways you can use it. I'm going to show you how versatile they are, and I'm going to show you how to create a look like this. So this is the piece. So I'm going to be showcasing one of our stencils today, which is called Hot Spice. But before we can do anything like that, you really need to set a scene. Why did I pick a wooden door? Because it's just going to give me loads of lovely landscape to show you how lovely the stencil is. What have I got? I've got a big daddy brush, which is just a big blending brush. I've got some water here beside my palette. I've got Provence, Frida Blue, Furrow, Svenska Blue, Provence, and Giverny. So let me just go through that. It's a sort of turquoise, a very light bluey grey, a kind of much lighter sort of pared down turquoise, a bright electric blue, a sort of limey chartreuse colour, and a mid sort of bright heading towards cobalt blue. That's what the blues. These are all the blues. So how are we going to apply the paint? I put them all close together because we're going to do something like this. Yeah? Can you see that?
Ooh.
Right? And we're going to blend. Yeah? And we're just going to have a bit of fun, and we're going to dip in all of our colours. The trick, what I'm trying to do is, and I haven't actually started to use water yet at this stage. We're going to get some water on in a minute. But the trick is to kind of like start blending down your paint. And we're just looking for something that we like. Still haven't added any water at this stage now. If this was a beautiful piece of furniture right now, I would be saying don't spray the piece, spray the brush. But because it's just an old door and this is our base, I'm really not caring. I put a plastic sheet on the floor because there's going to be a lot of water involved in this. Because if you want to blend, you need the water to be able to do it. So again, I've got some colours here, and I'm just literally right now going up and down. I'm trying to get myself a sort of something that I like. A bit more water. Yeah, the paint's moving nicely now. And the thing about blending with a big brush like this is to just keep your sweeps going, keep your movement of your paint. And I'm just going to kind of move down the door. I'm going to keep all my strokes for this part before I dry it going up and down like this. I don't want that as heavy, and if I feel like it's heavy, just do that. And literally, the more you move your paintbrush around, the more it will blend back into these two colours again. But I'm still wanting to do my strokes up and down at this point. I'm not so worried about the dings in the wood. That's not bothering me. I'm going to put a bit of furrow in here. And along here. In these edges. You can see what I'm doing. I mean, I'm not really kind of, well, to be honest, we always think with the big blending brushes, the paint kind of blends itself, if this is the kind of blend you're looking for, but it is for me right now. Plenty of water. Now, back in here with the furrow along here. I'm going to do a bit more furrow up in here as well. Making sure you get down in all your edges. But this is just our sort of base coat, so I'm not too worried if I don't have full coverage at this point. If you do decide to go that way, remember to bring your strokes back that way again. So I think you've seen enough on this part. I'm just going to get on. I'm going to do the whole of the door, and then we'll come back to the next layer. Okay, so now I'm going to be doing the panels. I've got a different brush now. There's no real, I mean, this is the sort of all over kind of technique I've got. A lot of this is going to be kind of covered up with more paint, but it's always good to have a nice base coat, and if anything, it gives you a little bit of practice on doing things like this. So I'm really happy with that as it is. I mean, but obviously I'm going to now go away and make a mess of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in each one of these apertures. I'm going to start with these ones, and I'm going to, my brush is wet. Now I'm not adding paint to here. I'm adding it to my brush instead. It's different when you start, but I don't want to. So I've got some Barcelona orange on my brush, and I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. Whether I want to kind of do something like this and wet my brush and have it kind of really quite runny, or whether I just want to have it look like, I just want to see what it's like with a lot of water on it. You can see I'm really saturating my brush. Let's just kind of see where this takes me. I'm going to do the same at the bottom of here as well. And down the edges here. I want it quite watery, so I really want to put a lot of paint water on here, but I might have to in a minute just to make it run a little bit more, because I'm looking for a little bit more of a runny. Let's just see. I don't really want to do this because I don't want to end up with a saturated piece that I can't get dry, especially in the stable. If it was indoors right now, I don't think I'd care as much, but yeah, just let that kind of come down and do its own thing naturally. I'm going to do all of these apertures this orange colour, and once I've done this, I'm just going to do this one quickly, and then I'll jump back onto this one. I'm just thinking of colours that's going to be nice when I go to put my stencil on. That is the thing about stenciling, or anything like this. You know, you need to kind of set a scene that you enjoy, makes you happy. I just want to whip this one now. Just get a bit of a run. I want to kind of deepen up some of this at the top. Yeah. I don't want it too runny. Right, okay. I think that's distress enough. Now, what I'm going to put in alongside this is some Capri Pink, which is the bright hot pink. I'm not going to clean my brush. I'm just going to keep it on the same brush, and I'm going to wet it. And I'm pretty much going to kind of go in here as well with some pink. And I'm just going to kind of give some accents. I think. And then I'm going to give this a little bit of a squish as well, just so it's not so heavy. However, I'm not wanting too much of this, so let's try and kind of catch it. And I just want a cloth because I don't want this to actually do it. No, I do. Let's just leave that at that. Right, so this is what I'm going to do for every one of the apertures. I'm just going to do exactly what I've shown you, just kind of start putting some colour in so that when we go to put our stencil on it, we've got somewhere to go with it, which always kind of helps, I think. Don't worry about these parts, the wood round the apertures of the frames of the door. We get to those. Okay, so I've got some Annie Sloan's Paprika here. There isn't much of a muchness of a difference right now. I'm going to be going round the mouldings on the frames of the doors with this colour, and I'm going to be using a brush and a small palette knife. And when I get to the ends of here, I'm going to be adding it thicker and letting it run down. So let's just see how this all goes. I want to keep quite a lot of the blue you see underneath it. I don't want to lose too much of that. And I thought the best way to do this was probably with a palette knife, but I thought I'll bring a brush just in case. Doesn't matter if that gets in there and it's quite thick, it's just going to build up some texture, and that will only kind of aid what we're trying to do here. You don't even know what stencil it is yet.
Well, they might. Depends if you introduce it at the start.
No, I'm not gonna.
It's a secret, is it?
I'm being secretive. I'm gonna need to have a little bit of brush just because of the that will add lots of texture because of the ins and outs. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of both. because this goes in and out, it's a little bit tricky to kind of navigate. I want it kind of thicker on the edges. Right, okay, now we're talking. Back to the palette knife. I put some on the mat before I realised. I just want to get rid of some of that thickness there. Bring that down here. Get it in here. Now, hopefully you see where this is going, but maybe you don't. I'm just trying to get it to the bottom edge so that I can do the dribbly painty thing. I think I want to make it look quite messy around here, so you know, I don't think any of this is, I think this is a piece that there are no mistakes on, if you know what I mean. It's just is what it is. Right, okay, so we've got to here. Now I think probably it's best if we do have a cloth, just in case, just for a little bit of control of what's happening. I'm going to dip in and I'm going to go along here. And literally I'm going to repeat this on all of the doors. Now let me just kind of get this to the edge here, because this is the part that I'm going to be wanting to run. Bring my brush along here so that I've got plenty of paint. Yeah. Right, now here we go. Now I'm looking for started by saying I didn't want to add too much water, and it's not something I really do when I'm in the stable, but I can aid the drying with the heat tool so that my piece isn't exactly. Now what I'm trying to do is coax it by rubbing it. More water and a little bit more coaxing. Now I don't want to coax it that there's these thin dribbles. That's not what I'm looking for. Coax it again. I think really this is just something you're going to have to play about with, but more water. Again, the long thin ones, we're not looking for the long thin ones. I don't mind if it marks the paint finish, but I think we're kind of, I mean, this is nice, but it's a wider one, if you know what I mean. I'm looking for wider because this will dry lighter, which means that we don't want it that it isn't seen, and I don't want any of these kind of thinny ones. Yeah. Right, I'm going to get on. I'm going to do the rest in exactly the same fashion. So that these run down here. Doesn't matter if this isn't part of here, you know, just bring that along here like this. In fact, I'm just going to run that right down there, because that's why, because I can actually. It's hard to get colourful distress looks if you are not very brave, if you are scared to add texture and add all the colours under the sun and see what happens. It's kind of scary, but it is actually okay. What's the harm? It's just an old door. If you don't like it, well, don't do any more on it.
Yeah, turn it around, do the other side.
Do the other side and start again. Is that what you do, Matty? Like it had never happened.
Yep.
Right. That kind of looks like the paint was on there. This was probably the original. It's all worn here, so I quite like that, although I don't want that. There needs to be almost a kind of break in the paint here. I don't know why I think this. It's hard to explain, but I just do. Wasn't maybe wanting as much of that. But don't worry, there's going to be more on this. Right, I'm going to do this round the apertures on all of them, okay? So I measured here and cut out a square and then folded it in half, made a shape to get this kind of shape here. Now, I'm just roughly, because I'm going to be rollering this shape here. And hang on, I didn't do the mental gymnastics, and I really kind of want just a roller part here and a roller part here, and try and keep the green down the middle, and a roller part to about here. Okay, so boom. Now, I had some olive in a tub, and I had some chocolate brown that I added to it. This is the result. It was a funky sort of colour, so I added a little bit of burgundy. I'm looking for a sort of chocolatey brown right now. It doesn't sound very exciting with all these beautiful colours, but I'm starting to kind of tone it down now. So I'll pour it on the palette, Martin, because I think you're struggling to see it. It's just a sort of chocolatey brown. There we go. To be honest with you, it's only because I don't want to waste the paint. So, you know, I'm just using what I've got now. So let's just think, I'm wanting this coming down here. You're going to have to keep loading up your mini ruler for this. If you want more of a sort of kind of, if you want a more of sort of a distress line, well, don't bother. You know, that's, I'm trying to keep it within my little chalk line. But I am going to go over my little chalk line there. Did I get rid of it? Yeah, then. Coming down here. And the same on the other side. And again, I think you get the gist. I mean, I'm going to be going down just to here. I'm not doing anything under here, under the bottoms of each one of these panels on the door. It's just going to, this pattern is going to stop here. Yeah. This shape here, now it's going to be slightly complicated, but don't worry about it. We just want we just want the stress in here, in the shape. Where my chalk line is, I'm going to put a bit of paint, so we're going to be fine. So, and the same is going to happen down this edge here. All the way down to the bottom. I could do with a little bit more up in here. I mean, I don't want to make it too obvious that it's been rolled up round this edge, but it would be good if we could kind of keep it like it is all like really distressed in here. Okay, I think maybe a little bit more down here. So, happy with this, but so do you know what we're doing? We're doing this shape round all of the 4 doors. Well, these 4, and I'll make a big tall one for the top, I think. Okay, I'm just going to roll over this with some blue, and it's just what's on my mix mat from before. It's just some Giverny and Florins together, and I think there's some little bits of the Svenska blue. It's not easy for me to see. Not a lot of things are not easy for me to see. And I'm just going to put some of that over here. Oh, and there's a wee drip there. It's just to kind of like give it a little bit more something when whatever goes over the top, if you know what I mean. This is incredibly layered, and we haven't even got to stencils yet. But you have to set good scenes for stencils. You have to put the hard work in to get the look, I think. Well, that's what I think. Now, don't want so many lines in that. Mind you, maybe it just looks a little bit scratched. Okay, I've decided I'm just going to dry this off, and I'm going to work on these 2, because then that way you can see these 2 develop before I get right up to the top, I think. Okay, so let me introduce you to the border set of the Hot Spice collection. So there's 3 stencils in a pack, and I've thought about all the furniture people. Obviously, if you do smalls as well, these are going to be absolutely fine. But furniture people, I have done it for you. Now, so we've done this down here, and I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I love all my borders, but I'm going to pick this one. I'm going to make sure that I think I might just give myself this little bit of that's here on the stencil to do this. And I am going to be using a colour called Arrows, which is this sort of colour. But I'm just going to make sure that this, I should have done all this before I started. I'm now stirring the paint with my stencil brush. I shook it, so I mean, I'm halfway there, but not all the way there. Now I've went and completely and utterly overloaded my brush. So just give me a minute while are you filming this, Matt? Are you filming this disaster?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gee, thanks. Can always be relied on. Right, okay, so let's go for it. I'm going to start at the bottom of this one and work my way up. So this should give me a sort of goldy yellow. See that little mistake there where I kind of rubbed off it? That's absolutely fine. Now, generally, I would just cut this stencil out, but because it's my stencil, I'm thinking I won't cut it right now, but I probably will in the future. Maybe by the time I get to the next one, I will cut it, but I just wanted to show you the other borders that will go with this pack. Position my hand somewhere else so that I've still got a good hold of the stencil. And let's just see how this comes out. Whew. Now I want to join this onto here and make sure it's semi-straight. And I've got enough paint on my palette down here that probably could do 20 doors. And you know this because Martin filmed it. If I had wanted them to be on the palette, you wouldn't have been there. Never mind. This is reality of what we do.
Reality TV.
Yeah, it is reality. And this, twice of this, is actually so perfect because it takes me right to the bottom. And let's just have a look at this. Now, I'm going to run this down this side. And down this side and this side, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Okay, so this is what I've done so far, and I think maybe Martin's captured me just kind of running it around and everything. Now, this part up here to get the stencil round wasn't easy, but I'm just going to, I'm blown away. I mean, I know it's mine, but with this one here, if you want to link it, you just add this little sort of flower, and that's the one that links them together. So you can link lots of different things with this. I mean, you could literally do all sorts of shapes. So how did I do it? It wasn't easy, and there's a lot of cleanup, but I'll show you my process. So I'm putting this line here, ignore my fingers, the inside of the stencil line here onto my line, and I'm trying to get the straight bits done first. So I can see that ends there. So I've got from here, my finger width to do. Yeah, so I'm dipping in my stencil brush. Now I've already kind of worked out, my stencil brush is kind of big for this, but I've started, so I'm going to finish, right? So just my finger length to there. Remembering those little dots, right? Let's do the same on the other side because we know that that's straight and we're going to about here. So I'll try and turn it. It's awkward when we're trying to film so that I can show you, but I'll do my best. I'm only going to get that much in here. It's okay, Martin, it won't fall down. Martin's holding my stencil up. I think he was concerned. Now I'm going to do this part here, which is kind of like, you kind of have to maneuver it. So I'm doing here, turning, but moving at the same time. So I'm going to go into this shape here. Now, as I said, there's a bit of cleanup with this, but I've managed to make it reasonably work. And then I just took this part here and just, as long as it's kind of in at the edge. Yeah, we'll clean all this up in a minute. It looks very, okay, the camera died, and what I was in the middle of saying was, it looks very crude. I finished this edge here. Now, how did I get the definition back on this side? We'll tidy all the outside in a minute, but let's just tidy up the inside. I put my template back on like that. And what I did was I got some yellow and I kind of ran it along here first. Yeah, filled that in, making sure that that shape was back here. Just kind of, because it's distressed, it's okay. Now, next thing, I got a little bit of my blue on my brush. And, okay, we're not having a lot of luck with our cameras tonight because the camera died again. So what I was about to say was...
We're good now.
What I was about to say was, let's clear up any parts that look not right. So let's just get rid of that part there. Yeah, I'm going to put something else in that in a minute. I need to come back and do that. Let's get rid of this. And let's clear and make this the definition. Get rid of that line. There's my beginning line. And then let's just dip in the brown and just kind of distress up to that edge to put back the shape. Yeah, already it looks better. Now let's just make sure that all the edgy parts, I feel like it needs a little bit of this, run over it, and we can do that too. Just kind of puts the distress back and the shape back. And let's just have one last kind of twirl around here to see where we're at. I think I am missing. Am I missing? No, I'm not missing anything from there. I'm going to tidy this up. That's what's wrong. Look. If I get rid of the wrong colour, helps if I use the right colour. Oh no, that's not the right colour either. Oh dear. Third time's a charm. It's a good job it's a distressy piece. Let's just blend that out and we won't talk about it. Can you see these brown parts here? For some reason, they ended up with brown on my back of my stencil. And it went across there and I thought, I like that. So I'm now going to have to try and do something like this up the top as well. So we're going to put this piece back in a minute. There's not much we can do about this part here. We can maybe give it a little bit more definition. Let's just see where I'm at. Is it this part? Is it this part? I need to find it first. I think it was this part here on its side. Let's just kind of give it something a little bit more defined because it's quite near the top, which means we don't want to lose. Yeah, just let that dry a minute. I think that's as good as we are going to be able to, because I mean stencils aren't made to go round in curves, but it just shows you, made by Marley ones. Right, okay, yeah, I'm going to take a tiny brush, I think, just a small one, something fuzzy, maybe this one, and just kind of tidy up in behind here. I mean, who's gonna, oh, that's wet. Who's gonna know or see it's a distressed piece, but I'll know. And that's important to me. Get rid of that. Right, okay, so I've done that shape. Once I had done that, I literally got my yellow on my, just a small little artist brush. It's a kind of rough artist brush. And then what I did was I just kind of started to kind of put in some, can you see the difference between this and this? This one looks way more distressed. This is popping out because I've put a lighter colour on it. So this is all I'm going to do. So I just did it wherever I felt I thought I might want to do it. I mean, there's no, you know, this is, how do I describe this? This is just what you, where you think you might want it. So I'm kind of like rubbing it into, there's a little kind of part of the bead in there. I'm just putting it in there. Maybe some up on the edges because I like doing the corners. You're not trying to get rid of the green. You're not trying to get rid of any sort of colour. You're just enhancing what is there. So you don't go crazy. It'll end up looking really mottled and too busy. I just said that, yeah. Too busy. Yeah, you don't want it too busy.
It's too busy.
Yeah, you don't want it too busy, Martin. I mean, come on. Built a career on it. Okay, busy it is. Okay, I come along here as well.
And we're only just getting started as well.
I know, we are only just getting started. There's so much you can do with this. Right, now, as if that wasn't as exciting as it was, I have got more excitingness to deal out. So this shape up here is dry, even though it appears a bit damp. Now, I have the mandalas of my dreams, the lotus flowers. So look, I'm going to put that in there. I want my lotus flower. Boom, that's where it's going. But I've also got a smaller one. So when the smaller apertures happen, because I'm going to have to make a smaller frame like this for up there. And what I'll do is I'll just fold it and follow the shape and make it thinner. And I'll put the little one in there for the next panel up. And I'll do 3 lots of this for the top one of the thinner one. If you does that make sense? It makes sense to me, but maybe not.
You'll see when we get up there.
So the mandalas, I'm going to use the big one up in here. I just need to set up with a paint colour, and I'll be back in 1 minute. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add something up the top, and I have now got in this set the lotus flowers of my dreams. I've got a big one, and I've got a small one, and I've got a paisley pattern piece. So I'm going to use this big one because I measured my aperture to fit my template, if you know what I mean. So I know it's going to fit up inside it. So I'm just going to put it up in here. I'm going to put my glasses on because that's always paramount. And I've got some orangey pink on my brush, and I've just got a little bit in case I get any bleed through, and I'm just gonna run it along and let's see how this works out for us. This is actually, although the stencil looks like I've used it, it's just been on the stable floor, but this is the first time I've actually used it. So
that's my fault. I got it dirty.
Now, just shifted there a minute. A big blob of colour, green went on it, so we had to try and clean it. Now, I think you can see what I'm doing here. I'm kind of going in the orange and then kind of in the pink. It's to kind of give me a two-tone effect on this one. Back in the orange. And I'm layering this up here. I don't want to layer it too much that I get bleed through, but I do want a sort of the differentiation of colour. Now that is a big word for what day is it? A Tuesday night. Now let's have a wee look and see how this looks, and we'll all have a look together. There we go. Oh, lovely. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use my lotus flower. I was going to put them up here like leaves. No, it really has to go that way, doesn't it? You know, like up. But I have to be careful because I have to get the same on this side. So I just want a little part of it. Yeah, fortune favours the bold. And I've got some green. I'm just going to add a little bit of furrow to it, which is the line. And let's see if we can do this. I'm not saying we can. Sorry, I'm doing an awful lot of offloading because I'm not actually going to be using a stencil brush. Right, let's just see where this is. And I don't mind it going over onto my border. I want all those little circles. More green. Well, hopefully I haven't made a mess of this. This is the thing about stencils, and this is why we wanted a range of stencils. Stencils, you can do so many things with stencils just by flipping them, turning them, taking parts out of them, moving them. And I think when this site particularly was designed, I wanted to get all the things that I've always wanted out of stencils. And I think it met more than... Yep. And I'm going to just quickly just give this a little wipe. I don't have that much on it. I'm just wiping it. Let's flip this round and do the same on this side. Now I've got those little bits and they go here. Sorry, seeing the mental gymnastics. I could have said like other people do, and I'll go and do the rest off camera, but you know, here I am. I really could have done, I think, better maybe with a stencil brush, but this is what I'm doing. Hopefully this isn't wonky. If it is, we just won't talk about it.
It doesn't matter. Things aren't symmetrical in nature like this. Anyway, you know, leaves and things.
Do you know, Martin, that's exactly right. Thank you for telling me that, because I've got a funny feeling about this one. Let's just see if I've got it kind of similar to the one over the road.
Well, I've been raining over that side, you know.
I think that's okay. I think I'm good with that. Now, what am I going to do? Now, because I've got this sort of distress look, I'm going to leave this just now until it dries. And then I'm going to put some wee bit more over it because it's a little bit muddy here and here because of the texture from underneath. Next thing, I'm going to do the same on the other window. And I'm going to set up for the last, which is the main set stencil of this piece. And it's going to go here. Okay. So actually, I'll just set up for that and we'll do this here now. And then I can recreate it on this window until we get up to the top, the one above, and we'll shorten this template and we'll do something similar again. Okay. Okay, so I cut one of my borders out just so I could fit it up in beside here. And it's this one here, which I'm going to layer underneath my main. I've decided I'm not going to show you the main part of this until the end. Martin says it'll be exciting then. We're building excitement.
Well, you're showing them all the other bits as well.
It could be an anticlimax. Right. I'm not using a stencil brush for this. I'm just using Frank. This brush is called Frank. He's been around for such a long time, but he's very, very good.
What do they say about Bagpuss? He's old and
saggy old cloth cap, but family loved him.
It's the same with this brush, isn't it?
I think I put a little bit too much paint on that there. I'm hoping that I didn't get bleed through. I'm trying to maneuver. Sometimes if you've got bleed through, if you kind of move the paint around slightly, it looks less bleed through when you pull it out. Or that's what I'm seeing. Oh, it's good, it's good, it's good. Now I'm just going to flip my end into here at the bottom and hope for the best up here somehow. We'll see if we can make it work. Back in the brown. I'm only going to do this on this side and that side, and obviously the other one beside me, but why is this away out here? And there's my... Oh, I think I went and forgot there and went right up over the top of the other one. I got stenciling giddy. I'm just getting some more paint. Sorry, I just... Why am I starting to add brown? Because sometimes it just kind of tones everything down a little bit. You've still got all your colour and all your richness, but the brown almost adds to that, but it kind of sets it back a little bit. And I sometimes like, and I think I've gone right up over the top of that stenciling now. Goodness knows what it looks. Oh, that's a modern day miracle, because do you know what? I didn't think that. Oh, that goes right under that door. I'll have to be kind of careful. Right, so I'm going to get on and do this side, and this side, and then I'm going to move up. Okay, so this is the template that we used on the two downstairs windows, but there's not enough room to have this template on this one. So all you do to kind of make it shorter is just follow the line of the outside and make it work on the inside. Well, that is hopefully the plan. And then just cut that off there because that's not needed now, that part. And you've now got a whole new shortened version for up here. And then you just repeat the process like you did down the bottom by distressing it with the brown and the roller. Do this on both sides. I think I might bring this one down a bit because I'm going to miss the point of a do that, and I'll just fix this one slightly as well and bring this one down slightly just so that I've got more of a point. Right, okay, so roller, you need your little mini rollers. Had one a minute ago, but that's just typical.
It's down there behind the water.
Good, well spotted. So you just do... My brown's down here. I wasn't organised a minute ago. So what I've been doing while off camera is I have just literally been doing what I did downstairs, putting this border up to here, putting this in here, doing the yellow distress so that these are both at the same stage. I'm going to go on now and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with these apertures, and then we're going to use the smaller one of the lotus flowers to go in here. And we'll do that there. But when I get to that, I'll come back and we'll just use maybe the tips of here to get a leaf. And then we have to think about what we're going to do up the top. Whether we're going to put one of these big ones in the middle and maybe have, or will we just run the paisley pattern along it might be quite nice. So if I do two this way and do two that way, and if I've got room for one of these in the middle, I will do. But let's not get away with ourselves. Let's get this part done first, okay? Okay, to become a stencil stamping queen or king, you need to be able to look at your stencils and be able to identify different shapes. It enables you to get so much more worth out of one pack of stencils. And I believe that, you know, you just kind of use them at will. So for this edge here, I'm not going to be able to fit this big broad border on it. So all I've done is I've used a delicate surface frog tape, and I've just taped off this little, let's call it a tulipy shape, this little flower. And I'm going to apply it onto here as a border, so that way I can just maneuver it and I don't need to worry because I've taped it off, and I can just go round. I'm leaning on the shape beforehand, so let's hopefully it's not getting too messy. I'm not really kind of like bothering too much about it. I mean, it's distressed, but you know what I mean. Go along the line. Up here, I'm only going to get this part. And maybe this part. We'll do the same on this side here. I'm trying my best to follow my line, but, you know, just trying and trying. when I stand back and look at it, I'll go, what was I thinking? And then what I'll do is I'll just delete this piece of footage and do it again. Yeah, there we go. So I've designed Made by Marley stencils to be able to be used in multiple different ways and keeping it kind of like, keeping it fun. Well, that's not too bad. I think it goes a little bit off here, but if I do that, I mean, there's always going to be fixes with these things, and I think you have to kind of, I haven't got the orange out, so I'll just stick my finger in the pink and run across there with the pink. There we go. Now, reasonably okay, quite happy with that. Now in here, we were going to put our little one. Now I haven't cut these up yet. I don't know why I'm so reticent. They belong to me, but it's just that. Now I want to try and keep it in keeping with the downstairs windows. So I did the downstairs windows in a sort of kind of cherry sort of pinky colour. So let's just have a wee look at what we've got going on here. I am creating the mess of all messes. If only you could see it, it's just not pretty. Now I've got some of, I'll just show you it to camera and then that way you can see it. I'm just mixing some of the Capri Pink, which is the hot pink, and some of the Barcelona orange, which is down here attached to my carpet for some reason. I don't know why. Just needs a tiny little bit for stenciling. So, oh, that is not a tiny little bit. Let's just make a mess over here. Excuse me, top dip when you're stenciling. Yeah, you can use mixed mats and everything, but I sometimes use cardboard because you're making so many different variations and it dries quickly because you only need a little bit for stenciling. So I think bits of cardboard sometimes is maybe more practical. Just you know, if you have an old cardboard box beside you. Right, now, let's just get this bad boy on. Well, I'm kind of centered. But I mean, my kind of centered and everybody else's kind of centered is a wee bit different. I mean, depends what you think about centered, eh, Martin? We have different terms of that. Now, pop her on there like that. Lovely. Move the stencil, and I'm just going to go and show you that again over here. And again, I think we're reasonably straight, but I think that stenciling is so much fun, and I think if you stop and you go, oh, is this straight, is this is this that, have I got bleed through, have I got any of these things? Nah, takes fun out of all of it. Right, there we go. Right, my two little pink ones are there now. Now I have to wait till they dry a bit, but I'm just gonna, like I did downstairs, flip my leaf and just use maybe the very tippy part of this here to make a leaf on both sides. I think downstairs I had my leaf going up. No, I had it there. I was right the first time. So just a little part here. Mental gymnastics. And a little part here. I'll go on and do that. And then we're going to try and work out, because I think sometimes when you cut things to make a template, sometimes you can just use it and just shorten it again. Now to shorten it, you don't want to shorten the top, just shorten the bottom. But I'm wondering how many of these I can get across here. I'll do two in the middle and I'll cobble something together for the middle. That's how I roll. Right, so to measure it, just take it to here, get your finger, kind of stick it there. And let's just kind of shorten this off. Ta-da. By the way, when I cut this, I measured it again before I cut it to see if it was going to fit up in here, and I knew it would. So, you know, these are always things, if you're going to be creating something to put it behind, measure it first, because ask me how I know. Sometimes you can cut things and go, oh, it doesn't fit. Right, so I'm thinking, let's just draw around. I'll just show you this part now, because that way I can get on and paint it with brown, with the roller. So I think for doing up here, I am going to get on. I've got a little wooden chair in here that I can stand on. Whoop. Do this one here. Sorry, Matty, I'm in the way.
Right.
I'm kind of quite large to get past. And there's our other one there. And let's just take this shape. Well, I'm saying we are. just nearly to the edge of this one, not quite. And we'll bring this one down here. We'll bring this one down there. And I think we're kind of glorious at that. So these are going to be brown with the roller, the brown and the turquoise. Yeah, I'm going to go and do that next. I'm going to just use the little tulipy pattern again to get up round here because that's the only one that's going to fit. In fact, do you know what I might do up on here? I might just use the little top part, not even the leaves, because it's going to get complicated in here and get muddy if it's too big. So but I'll maybe come back and film that part. I think I might just use the little spots along here. I do something exciting here. I wonder whether I could have one coming down. See, this is what I do. No, I'll just leave it just now. I'll do the bits that I'm said I'm going to do, and then we will come back. And we're getting very close to making this look incredibly bougie. That's all I'm saying. So don't go away. You need to keep watching. Okay, so now I'm just going to start polishing. I won't say. I'm just going to start polishing my piece. Martin.
It was your giggle that got me started.
I'm just using a number 1 liner rigger brush for this. I'm just watering down my black, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of not do all of the details of the lotus flower, but I'm just going to make them pop, and it will all become apparent why I'm using black in a little bit, because we've got the last wowsy part to put on. Sorry, I'm having to keep looking down to see what I did before. Down. And I think that's probably enough on the small ones. I don't want to. There is going to be black in the design, so maybe just that. Right. Okay. Then I'm going to run my black liner down in here in a sort of distressed way, just to make it look a bit more like a panel. It doesn't matter if it comes out on your outer edge, that'll just add to your kind of like your distressed look. I really didn't spend a lot of time over it, just kind of run that down in there. Yeah. Oh. I won't do any more of this, but you get the gist. Just down in here, thick and thin all the way down, to make it look like it's all one panel. If you feel like I feel right now that my panels don't meet, just make them meet. And so we've gone around here, we need to go around our leaves. So we're just going to do this, because I don't have the whole leaf. And obviously the same on the other side. And now what I'm going to do is, I think I might make this kind of poke up a bit like that. I must remember these things, because then what happens on the other side is I forget. Now I'm cleaning my brush, and I'm going to go into the pink. I've only got a tiny little bit of pink here, but it's enough to show you. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to do the pink line in amongst the little tulips. Like that, all the way, all over, everywhere that there's this border, I'm going to be putting this pink. I'm dipping back in the black again. Now, feel free at this point, if you want to use Poscas, well, feel free. I mean, I'm not stopping you. It's just because I've got the paint on my brush. And all I'm going to do is put a little black dot. Now, see down, there was a bit where my stencil had a bit of brown on it and it got rubbed over. So what I did was I just tried to recreate that mess that the stencil made with the brown paint, and just kind of put it around. So that kind of makes me happy. So the dots, when it's up the top, there's not, you're just going to do your black spot in them. I still need to try and make this little tulip pattern go along here, and we'll put something here. Same with down below. And then once I've done all this, we'll get to the exciting part. Yeah.
As if this isn't
As
all
this
exciting
isn't
enough
already exciting enough. I can hardly wait with my giddiness. So this is the main image of this stencil. I mean, up until now, I haven't used it. It's an elephant. I'm going to start stenciling it and you'll get the reveal at the end. I got a kind of, I don't know why, one of my most favourite, it's the most favourite thing, but I've got a really dodgy stencil brush. It's not a dodgy one, it's just one of those ones with the really long handles. Sorry, I'm just trying to reach my paint and not let my stencil move at the same time. So why did I choose to do this in black? I chose to do the elephant in black because this is, I want all the main images to stand out on the piece. And there's a whole load of colour and there's a whole load of everything. And I thought, this is the way to go with this. And you're going to get a chance to see it. This is the first time that this is going to be seen. I've only used it once because I used it on the same door, which is downstairs. I've already done it. So I know how it comes out. Martin and I did it the other night and we're both like, ooh. I don't think you really know how a stencil's actually going to be until you actually use it. So sorry about this. I just want to get you the whole... Should I stop the camera, Marty, and come back, or will we just keep going?
Keep going.
I sometimes think furniture artists have to have hands like octopuses. Just making sure that I've got in all these parts. I think the whole set, this set, and I'll tell you the name again of the set, it's called Hot Spice. I think this whole set is really, like, if you're looking for and sort of to make an Indian inspired piece of furniture, it has everything that you could need. I know this because this is what I do all the time, and how it was designed was all the things, my wish list of what I'd actually want when it comes to an Indian inspired stencil. But the same with all the other designs as well. They've been so thought out that I know that if you're going to do these kind of things, then it's all been thought for you. I think we'll maybe manage with one last sort of... There's a lot of little parts. Nearly done. Now, Martin and I can get giddy again. It isn't going to get dull for us, I don't think.
Not for a while.
No, not for a while. I just I can't believe I've got my own stencils. Like, belong to me. Copyright. The rights belong. Everything. The whole thing. These are mine. Now. Well, they're ours, Marty, aren't they?
They're yours, baby.
Okay. So, here we go. And you're seeing this. It's the first time it's ever been shown. This is the elephant. And isn't he lovely? I thought of all the things I wanted in an elephant, and this is what I've got. Now, I'd like to put the rest of the stencils above. However, I've had another one of those incidents with my stencil. It's now been dipped in the green. I'll see if... Oh, I've got a cloth right here. I could probably clean it. What I'm going to do next is... Marty, you can pan down to the bottom one now. Marty, okay. Marty wanted to show you.
I've been hiding this for like 2 days.
thought it would fit in here just perfectly. Why are our stencils A4? Because I've bought big stencils before and they don't work very well for furniture because they don't get in and out of doors. You end up having to cut them. They're not handy unless you're kind of taking all your drawers out and going along the front of your drawers. They're better being A4 sized, and when there's more than one element, just cut them up. That way you can work with your stencils the way you want to work with them. But all my stencils right now are going to be A4 just because that's the most useful size when you're doing furniture. I mean, the elephant, what you can do with the elephant is endless. I mean, you could put it on, paint behind it, and then put it back on top. You could add a myriad of different colours into it. I'm just using black just for the maximum impact, but there's so many things you could do with them. And he's just so cute. He's got flowers and everything, all the things I like. Right, so I'm going back in here. Now, I understand this is TV World, and I could have cleaned my stencil, but I haven't because I'm just wanting to kind of show you what I did next. And then all I did was I got the smaller of the two lotuses, and I just stenciled one above and one below. And really, I didn't think it needed anything else. Now, I've got one border left in this set that I haven't used, which I'm going to run along the bottom to ground the furniture. And I'm deliberating what I'm going to do here and this other gap that's down the other side. And then we will be done. So I know it's just too exciting, but I'm going to go away and I'm going to put the rest of my elephants on so we can see what it looks like across the panels. So this here, upside down on here on this side, same here, same here. I'm not quite sure about the top yet because obviously my elephant isn't going to fit into there. Now, if it was me normally, I would just kind of make them fit, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that with my own stencil. So I think what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to use the paisley pattern and do what I said, 2 and 2, and then flip it and do 2 and 2 from that side and put something in the middle. Okay, so I said I wanted to ground it, and this is me using the very last border that I have. I've used the other two. This is the third one. So I'm just going to use it, and I'm just using, I mean, where I've cut it might not be straight, but I'm just using the bottom part of the sort of plastic. I mean, the floor might not be straight either. Oh well, we'll see how we'll see how this works out for us. I think I'm just going to go for it. If it's not straight, we'll work it out. That's how I'm rolling. I just wanted you to see this last border because it's lovely as well. And I just didn't have enough room to make it the star of the show, but I thought, and these have been made so that they all fit back together cleverly by my daughter. She's the technical one.
The dream team. Lyle, the designer. Jamie, the technical one.
Jamie, the graphic designer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and this last part here. Now, I feel like always having a dark band sometimes grounds things, and I need to bring the black into it anyway. And I think this is I need to obviously put this part on here just so that I don't have a sort of gappy area there. I mean, at this part, feel free to add a little bit more black into it. Like, I mean, a little bit of kind of touch here, you know, like, just kind of like, you know, just kind of gives it a little bit more dimension. Just around your panels though, not over everything else. I mean, don't go black crazy because black can take over quite quickly. Maybe some round the edge down here, and maybe, yeah. Okay. Oh, last but not least, I've just got my liner and I painted pink around here. So I'm just going to paint pink around my two flowers here and the middle panels. And then last thing we've got to do is just put something in the top half, and we are done. Okay, so I've decided that I'm going to do the paisley pattern up and down, and I just thought I'd come back and show you how that's going to look. Sometimes with the little dots you have to kind of do the pouncing manoeuvre. So I just want to make sure I get all those in. Right. So I'm going to do this, but then I'm going to have these ones going this way too. And we'll see if we can fit the big mandala in black up in here. Let's see if we can. Anyway, I'll get on and do that. I mean, you don't need to see me doing everything, I don't think. Okay, so it's finished. It took us a little bit longer in the end because in my infinite wisdom I decided I wanted a little plinth for my Buddha, and that took some time. Yeah, and obviously I put a knob, door knob on it, and I just stenciled it with the same way. I mean, you haven't missed anything there. What can I say about my stencils? My stencils rock. They are designed for furniture. You can do smalls with them. There's not a problem with that, but they are designed with furniture in mind. Being a furniture artist makes me think about all the things that I wish I had out of a stencil. Why is it good? Why are they good? Because they have the main image, which is the elephant, and it has the elements that you can add 3 elements on the next sheet and the last 3 borders. And these are borders that you can join together and make one long border. They're unusual as well. This pack is obviously Indian inspired. So everything that's been done to this set is purely for that sort of kind of Indian inspired look. As most stencils, they're not difficult to use. They're easy peasy. Do they give maximum impact? Yeah, they do. Am I slightly biased? Oh yeah, I am. Am I happy with them? Yeah, I have scrubbed these stencils within an inch of their lives many times now, 3 times now.
Yep.
And I'm not, Martin I think was freaking out the other night as I was scrubbing this. I wasn't gentle.
Honestly, it worries me. she's I'm tempted to say violent with it.
The thing is, I wanted to be violent with cleaning because I didn't want anybody to not maybe know the appropriate way to clean a stencil and kind of go at it and something happened to it. So it's all about kind of road testing it all to make sure that there's no bumps on the road for you guys. And that was all I was doing. I've also used rough, hard stencil brushes on this. I've used my nice ones as well, but hard ones are harder on a stencil. So I've tried all that. I've tried, everything that I would want to know about a stencil. I've done it on this piece. Was this piece hard? No, just a bit of blending, a bit of throwing paint at it first before you start, and then just knock yourself out, design yourself whatever you want. Can you imagine this? I was standing back there going, can you imagine this in a really dark black navy sort of colour and all the elements in this done in gold leaf? Ooh, that would be a bougie one. Anywho, I've shown you how to use it, so that's that. So this is Hot Spice, and there you go, knock yourself out. If you've enjoyed this video today, give us a like, give us a share, give us a thumbs up. Please leave us a lovely comment, and the most important thing is please consider subscribing. We now have decoupage paper and stencils. I mean, what more could you want? And they work together. This is our stencils, but this is our decoupage paper. Elephants, lotus flowers. You can mix and match our decoupage paper and our stencils. I'm just building myself a life that I don't ever need to get anything else. I just do it all myself. Thank you very much for watching, Martin. Have you got anything to add about this project today, apart from when I asked you to make the plinth for the Buddha?
Nope. The little plinth, as usual. That's not quite what I wanted, Martin, but I
wanted something really rough and ready, just a thick bit of wood that screwed on from the back. But he made me a proper little plinth, and I was looking at him and I was like, okay, I'm really grateful, but that wasn't really how I thought about it. But it doesn't matter. This piece I am keeping because I'm going to be using it as my staging. I'm going to sit it over here. I'm sealing. Just say sealer, our stencils, whatever paint, just seal with your favourite top coat sealer. I use French Chic sealer, but just seal appropriately. There's nothing different about sealing a stencil. And it's going to sit over there. And when I have something that's kind of inspired by sort of an Indian design, I can whip this out and I can use it as a photo wall. And it's got a little plinth from a Buddha. I need him to get a plinth for some of these big ones. Okay, right. Bye-bye.